Let's graph the inequality. These are actually quadratic inequalities, and so we are going to need to have a graphing form of a parabola. We're going to use this one. Y equals a times x minus h quantity squared plus k, where we know the vertex. The vertex is actually hk. So why don't we take this and put an equal sign for now. That way we know we're going to graph a parabola. It's actually going to be a dotted parabola. And we can see that little a is -2. I'm going to factor this out. And we have x minus 0 quantity squared plus 2. So we know our vertex. Our vertex is 0, 2. We also know that this parabola is opening down because there's a negative symbol in front of that 2 there. Let me point to it. This negative symbol here. And so this is actually going to indicate that this parabola is going to point downward, and you're going to have a maximum that is symbolized by the y value of the vertex. Why don't we graph this parabola? Usually 3 ordered pairs is darn good. So we're going to have 0, 2. Why don't we pick 1? When x is 1, we get y to be 0. When x is -1, you can also see that y is going to be 0. Remember, this is going to be a dotted parabola. Draw your axes. Zero, 2, right here, and then 1, and a -1 and 1. I'm going to draw a dotted parabola like that. So the parabola actually separates the Cartesian plane into 2 regions. There's a region inside the parabola, and there's a region outside the parabola. So look at this region here. There's a region inside the parabola, and there's a region on the outside of the parabola. So we just need to pick a test point that is not on the actual dotted parabola. We already know that's going to be false anyway. That's why it's dotted. So why don't we pick the origin? Why don't we test 0, 0 for the original inequality? Where is the original inequality? It's up here. Triple star. I'm going to go back to that triple star, and we're going to test 0, 0. Go back and test the original inequality and see if it gives you a true or false statement. We're going to test 0, 0. So is 0 greater than -2 times 0 squared plus 2? And the answer is false. This is a false inequality. It's basically saying, is 0 greater than 2? And that is not true. So that's false. So we don't shade the 0, 0 side. In fact, we're going to shade away from that 0, 0 side. We're going to shade this way. Make sure you do not shade the dotted line. Keep it dotted. So the solution to this parabolic inequality is that. What should you show? You should actually show your test points, and you should probably show your ordered pair. That's pretty darn good. Another key step is actually getting this in its graphing form. That always helps. Graphing form is right there. Why don't we look at the second example as well? Let's clear the board really quick. Let's clear the board. So we are going to look at part B. says x squared plus y is greater than negative 4. Once again, you're trying to get that into a graphing form. Graphing form of a parabola. Why don't we move that? Let's move this over here. Boop. We need a graphing form of this parabola. So hypothetically, let's just put an equal sign for now. And why don't we solve this for y? You're trying to graph this parabola. And once again, we're going to get this in a graphing form. Negative x minus 0, quantity squared, minus 4. So you can see the vertex. The vertex is 0, comma, negative 4. Make sure you get 3 ordered pairs. Why don't we pick, well, we're going to go ahead and graph from here. So I'm trying to get my ordered pairs from this equation here. It's probably easier. Let's pick x to be, let's just say 1 and negative 1. So negative 1 here, the quantity negative 1 squared is positive 1. Take its opposite and then subtract 4. So we get negative 5. And if you put 1, you also get negative 5. We have enough ordered pairs now. Draw a set of axes. Do the best you can. 0, negative 4, 1 and negative 5, negative 1 and negative 5. And we need a dotted parabola like that, right? Once again, there are 2 regions. There's a region inside that parabola and there's a region outside that parabola. For convenience, pick a test point. Let's test what? Test the original inequality, x squared plus y. Well, we're going to test 0, 0 in what? X squared plus y greater than negative 4. Is 0 plus 0 greater than negative 4? And the answer is yes, that is true. So we got to shade 0, 0. So how do we shade 0, 0? We're going to shade this way. 0, 0 is on the outside of this parabola. That's the only way we could shade 0, 0. We shade. Shade, 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 shade. And that's good enough. Circle the work that's necessary. Definitely your graph. How about we circle all this right here? Show a test point, and of course, plot a accurate graph.